everyone, this is Marlo Nama, and I hope everyone had a happy Valentine's Day, and welcome to the first ever review video commentary on Retrospective Reviews. Now, this isn't going to count as part of the main series, the main season, for airing this. It's sort of a spin-off. You could put it either way. But first things first, I am going to talk about the very first episode of Retrospective Review I came out called my Magic Island Review. And yet, it's either these things that you liked or you didn't like, and there's a lot of negative comments and death threats over that, which I didn't really expect. Okay. Now, at the time, the introduction, as you see coming up, was very basic. I mean, I didn't have past episodes to edit from to make up my intro, but now I do. And it's basically close up the streams and yada yada yada. And so what I did was basically played a clip from a part of one of the Metallica songs with a video with a video box art viewing up. That's basically all I could come up with right now. It was very brief. Now you may notice that I was stuttering a lot, and I realized that too because things basically take. This is my first time doing this, of course, going on webcam and editing like that. That I basically followed the examples of the Nostalgia Critic and very similar internet reviewers that just look at the camera and talk about video and scream about it a lot. You know, having fun, having a lot of fun out of it. And I was basically brief. Now I actually now I forgot to tell you that I didn't realize that this was a B movie because as a kid I actually saw it on the Disney Channel a lot growing up, and it's one of those movies where basically any kid would watch into it because it's got fantasy and stuff like that. But then they realize, what the hell is this? It's trying to act like a cartoon when it's actually a live action movie. But most of the time it doesn't work. It's not like Princess Bride, where Princess Bride is actually a very few live action movies in that formula that actually gets the cartoon enactment right, where they try to act like they're in a cartoon when they're really not. Like, for example, there's no uh, crazy sound effects like that. Now, again, this was also used in Inspector Gadget that the Nostalgia Critic reviewed, and we all know how annoyed he was at that. No! I gotta get out of here! Chatter, chatter, chatter. You know that. But this is actually. But here this takes it to a whole new level. I mean, Princess Bride doesn't add cliche sound effects that would typically use in a cartoon. That would typically be used in a cartoon because it's live action. It doesn't make any sense. In a cartoon, it works and it's funny. So don't get me wrong there. Like, a lot of people have never even heard of Moonbeam, and to tell you the truth, it's one of those things you actually have to surf the internet for to actually know of its existence. B movies are like that. Because, they usually get a bad rap, and they don't really, and they're kind of underground because, they're low budget and stuff like that. And, you know, first off, there's this start with this kid just zooming around his bedroom and stuff. And it looks like that this kid basically appears to be very spoiled, because if you look around his room, he has his own desktop computer, and this was from the mid 90s. I mean, computers were like just personal computers in general were just becoming mainstream. I mean, the internet had just come out, and usually there was only like one computer per household back then, and it would be used for the whole family. So and not even a kid would have it in his room because he might basically screw up and accidentally break this certain piece of technology is insanely expensive piece of technology. Like, kind of reminds me of the scenario where my first laptop computer I actually got for as a 16th birthday present like 8 years ago or so. And I remember that I didn't really know how to handle it properly, and I actually broke the screen twice, and my dad got furious. He's like, "It's trash! I'm not fixing it this time! If you break it again, it's over! It's taken away for good!" And to tell you the truth, it was actually it was originally my dad's laptop that he actually gave to me as a birthday present, and he was willing to actually buy a new screen, a new replacement screen off eBay, which was a bit hard to find, and then he taught me how to properly handle it, like always close it like a book, don't and always when you're taking it with you, like to keep it into a soft plush case where it's designed for it, and it lasted a very well and then it lasted a good 4 years until it actually got old and fried. Not that I did anything wrong to it though. It lasted for like 4 or 5 years because it was originally my dad's and he gave it to me. But then he gave me a new laptop and basically which used Windows Vista and which eventually Vista Toll Security destroyed it, and then and then I got a new one like 2.5 years later, which is the one I'm using right now. Man, I wish I had a Mac. It would be free of this annoying internet viruses that pop up. At least that Windows 7 is pretty much immune to Vista Toll Security. Oh yeah, back to the kid having his very own computer in his room. It reminded me of the time when I was a kid. I begged for a TV in my room. I didn't really get one until I was 13. This kid's basically the younger equivalent of these spoiled 16-year-old girls who want a car for their birthday and just rush to get their driver's license at the earliest age possible. And usually the ones that do are pretty much the ones with very permissive parents that kids living under authoritarian households envy so much and would just do anything to give themselves up for adoption. Like, I want to file for divorce! And apparently this kid is not only spoiled, he's also, very babyish. Apparently, he doesn't really know how to take care of himself. I mean, his mom even hires a babysitter. I mean, like, a Haitian babysitter. I mean, she, apparently, I think she's Haitian. If anyone knows, just comment or something. But because I actually thought the dish she was making, the dinner she was making for him, looked kind of Caribbean and stuff like that. Yeah, I have a hard time believing that the book she actually gave a 13-year-old would actually be the equivalent of like a first grade kindergarten picture book and short story. I mean, it's you even see it as he's getting sucked into it. And yet the book just opens on its own, like very bad special after effects, even for its time, and stuff like that. And there goes my dog Angel groaning again because she's very relaxed. This is the part that always questioned me. Um, didn't that lady ever check didn't even ever actually even notice he was missing from his room and just worried sick? Or maybe it's just or maybe it's just that whole time difference thing that they have in the digital world in Digimon that's never fucking explained. Yeah. Yeah, it's I'm just assuming that it has the same time difference principle that Digimon that I spoke about in my Digimon reviews between the digital world and the real world. And I'm still brainstorming for a finale to finish off the review series. And of course, I just bitch on about and I try to rip off ideas used by the nostalgia critic of criticizing stuff. You know, like Blackbeard, for example, he's such a loudmouth and a laughingstock. Um, when in actuality, he was supposed to be like this very fearsome pirate, and he has just a bunch of lackeys who are like mentally handicapped or something, and I'm screaming about like, you're making kids fucking retarded. You're brainwashing them to. You're repressing their maturity level. You're regressing their age. You know, just like Holden, what happened with Holden Caulfield in Catcher in the Rye. That age maturity regression that a lot of people know about. Now the sand shark who goes after pizza trees at the that it just makes me laugh that it seems like they pulled pizza trees right out of their ass, that the trees can grow whatever they fucking want. I mean, spoiler alert, if that lady really did write the book, why would she come up with the idea of pizza trees? And so there's a sand shark who actually blows bubble gum after he eats the spattered bubble gum filled with pizza, and it would only make sense like, okay, did he eat it? And then all of a sudden he's in the middle of the ocean. I don't know if he. Now a lot of people were commenting that maybe he teleported from the desert to the ocean by stepping on the book. Well, that could be a possible scenario if they ever showed the shot. And there's of course the mermaid, and this wish thing basically, of course, is never explained, or why it lasts so brief. Who is the mermaid god? Like, I was expecting who governs what a mermaid's purpose is. Like to temporarily give herself a wish. Aren't mermaids supposed to give people wishes, or similar to genies? If anyone can explain. Now, I want to go on about the counting gag I used, about silly cliche cartoon sound effects that I used. Um, and I noticed that I skipped over a few. And the mainly is that I didn't really know that they were realize that they were two separate sounds. I thought because the editing I realized was just so bad that I couldn't identify that they had a hard time separating them, so I just assumed that was all one sound. That was what happened. Um, Actually, I had to slow down the video a few times, like years later. I mean, after I aired this episode. Now the funniest part, that I love to joke about, basically the island god, where they just built this statue where they that looks like a tropical scarecrow, and it even scares this motherfucker to where he just literally faints and scares himself shitless. I mean, I even now use the island god with big yellow claws and as like a little joke. Like I remember one time like a couple Christmases ago, like a couple uh break over Christmas breaks ago, we actually had my relatives over. We were playing this picture exchange game where we had to actually write down an idea and stuff, and we were supposed to picture it in our head of what it is. And one of the ideas I just happened to have was an island god, was a island god with giant yellow claws and stuff like that. Like and stuff like that. And people were like, what the hell are you doing? And so, or the island god could have actually been this guy, the giant statue, the giant laser-eyed statue that's the size of a T-Rex. And again, it's very similar to the antagonist of my next review, that next movie that I'm reviewing. Spoiler alert, it's a surprise. And then there's also this treasure thing that the pirates and the buccaneers, same thing. They call themselves the Buccaneers, I said. And of course, at the end, the girl, of course, the mermaid gets turned back into a mermaid, and she just happened to be laying on a jewel embroidered, a jewel encrusted rug or something. And they figured out that's an appropriate treasure enough. And this kid must have been very weak, just trying to drag the mermaid out of there. Like, I bet her tail must have weighed a ton. But then I've heard rumors that the tail they used when shooting this movie was actually a mechanical mermaid tail, and that's probably what went on when they were shooting this. No, when I was a kid, I basically always wanted to make my own mermaid tail, and so what I would do when I was a kid, I would basically wrap wrap bath towels around my waist, real tight, really tight, around my legs, and then put diver flippers on and jump in the pool. That's basically what I would do. I'd be like, "Hey, look, mommy and daddy, I'm a mermaid." And I'm like, "Wow." Of course, people on the beach would just basically say that I'm just playing around. You know, maybe when I get enough money, I can actually buy my own authentic looking mermaid tail. You know, just so that so that I basically can, like, shoot a video of it for like music videos for future Deep with Envy music videos. Not that it would be necessary, but it would sure put on a nice effect. I could be like an atypical mermaid, swimming in like the spring, the spring, the natural spring pools. As soon as they fill up, because last time I went to the spring pools, the sinkhole pools, that it was pretty shallow, because where I was, there was a terrible drought not so long ago. In fact, the summer before last summer. In fact, there was a terrible drought the summer before last summer, where the entire area was in the worst drought category. In fact, it was even much worse than the one that hit the Midwest last summer. If you don't live in the United States, you're probably not aware of this, though. But